can start. Hi everyone, my name is Aemal Sayer. I am a software engineer with 23 years of experience. 7 or 8 years I've been building AI ML solutions. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, a master's degree in AI, but I dropped out of my master's degree in order to do my startup. For the past 9 years, I've been building a couple of different startups. Today, I don't want to do a presentation, therefore I just have my landing page. Although I have a presentation where I use it only when there are a lot of business people. For you guys, I'll literally do live demo. It may break. What I want to show here on the screen is an inspiration to push yourself, like the lady there, to do projects. I did this project, literally, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see what I have done is I started building it in public. Like what I'm doing right now is building an AI agent for Dative, and I'm doing it in public. What I do is every Sunday I go and I lock myself in a room, and I record my screen. You can see that one is 1 hour and so on. This is something that I built, episode number 5, last night, 27 minutes, and what you're going to see is the product of last night. So that's my 2 cents, if I can share with you guys. Like, push yourself to the world, be vulnerable, and don't worry if people are going to judge you that you put a semicolon or not, you're using a spaces versus tab, or you're using a co-pilot in the age of cursor. Just let people talk. They will talk anyway. So let's get into the momentum. Like, push things out in the world, and magic will happen. And I'm not someone with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I have got only 30 subscribers or so, but it's like a YouTube channel 3 weeks old. All right, so what I'm trying to build is, I said I'm not gonna show you presentations, now I'm showing you a presentation. What I'm trying to build is something similar to computer use. I think this is not the one that I want to show you. Blind clicks. So those of you who, please raise your hand if you don't know what is OpenAI operator. Perfect, nobody is there that do not know what's OpenAI operator. My project is something to do with this Anthropic's computer use or OpenAI operator. It will make my life much easier to explain it. Why I call it blind clicks is because the clicks that are happening, it's literally blindly happening. You will see it will hack things around because this screen resolution is way different than the one I have on my screen. So we'll spend a lot of time inside the code editor. Do I have a time limit? Okay, so 10, 15 minutes is okay now?
Sure.
Okay, so that I don't bore people.
If people start leaving, then you know.
Yeah, then I know it is not. Okay, so this is basically the gist of what you will see in a minute. We have something called robot.js. It's basically an operating system level click and typing and mouse drag and drop simulation. So you have very simple instructions with this npm package. I'm using Node, but you can use Python or anything you like. It creates certain clicks and typing on a UI, and that UI is sitting on a Docker container. We'll see it in just a minute. And right now I'm running a Linux distro, but you can also use any virtualization and run a Microsoft Windows XP under the hood, and then do all these clicks on the top of that. So basically the idea of this UI being rendered comes from one requirement, that is AI agents will need computers like human beings. Why? Because AI agents will definitely have a lot of potential where APIs are available. You can integrate them literally by dragging and dropping nodes on an N8N workflow or an Relevance AI or Make.com. But the real use case, especially in SMEs, where I am right now specializing, comes into using those legacy software, the software that looks extremely complicated. Something like as an accounting software that I'm doing is called Dative, as I mentioned, and their UI looks something like this. It's extremely complex. There are so many checkboxes. There are so many list buttons. And how you click on those checkboxes is my main focus. Like, how can it be with a very high accuracy, you can click in exactly that checkbox, not the one below that. The way currently the LLM-based operators are using, or computer use software that are using, is based on a screenshot. They take a screenshot, there's a visual, a multimodal LLM that goes through it, understands the user prompt, finds the exact coordinates where to click, where to type, and then it performs that. It's more a declarative paradigm. The way I want to do blind clicks is a more deterministic approach. It is explicitly mentioning, like, go click there, and click there. For that only diagram, I want to open this, this interface. If nothing worked, then I have a backup of, if we want to talk about anything else here, we will come back to this. For example, like, what are sequences, what can we store, what LLMs can we use? We'll just intentionally ignore it just to save some time. Before I start coding, I would like to show you this 38-second long video of this tool that I'm building in action. But please pay attention to one thing. This is like a 10-hour long project that I have done. It has only 5 episodes on YouTube. I may have spent like 2 or 3 more hours, but therefore I'm looking for contributors for this project. Please reach out to me if you believe that this kind of a project has some potential. So basically what I've built, this is, the entire container is simple Next.js. It has a chat interface here like Anthropic computer use or OpenAI's operator. On the right side, it's a Linux distro called Mate, and it is encapsulated with a project called WebTop. So basically, it's a web interface of the Linux distribution that's running, and it has terminals and so on. We'll see it in just a minute when we are done with this demo and start doing the actual coding. So let's see the demo. Basically, I'm asking a question in natural language here. Can you please find me a Berlin TV tower picture from the internet? When I submit it, it goes there. First, it opens the menu. It opens Firefox browser. Then it searches for the given term, Berlin TV tower. And then after that, it clicks on Builder. Builder in German means images. It clicks the first image, and then it right-clicks on that image, and then it finds the item that is called Save Image As. It stores it on the disk of that virtual machine. Right now, it's running inside the Docker container, and then it sends it back to the caller being this chat window. In episode 2, I have showed that this can be done headless. So I have a postman running. There is no UI. I send a request, 15 seconds later, I get a picture of Berlin TV tower. So that UI that you see here is not required. You can literally have this running inside a virtual machine somewhere on the cloud, and it can be horizontally scalable since it's Docker, and you can put it on a Kubernetes cluster and then just scale the hell out of it. All right, so that's the concept of the project. Does anyone have a question so far before we go to coding? Please.
Was the demo sped up? Or is it real time?
Pardon?
Was the demo?
No, it was not speed up. We'll do the same thing now in live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a very good question. The question was, just to make sure everyone understands it, and I also get it recorded on my camera. The question was the demo speed increased, like 2x or 3x speed? The answer is no, because first, I'm not a very good editor. I cannot do that. Second, it is not a vision-based. It is based on blind clicks. So I explicitly mentioned go click there, go type this, go do that. Therefore, it's literally to the operating system layer. Right now, it doesn't do any LLM calls. So if we go quickly back to that diagram, so the LLM calls only happen when it's a vision fallback. So whenever the sequence fails, then the vision will kick in. Imagine if the sequence is like, go click here, type a@aemalsayer.com, and then go click on register. And after this, there is, let's say, a button called log out. Let's say we are just simulating login and log out, okay? And then the step number 3 is click on log out button. And step number 3 fails because there is a message here saying that this user does not exist, or this user exists already, or something like that. It blocks here. In this case, that's the only minute when the LLM vision-based or an OCR-based sequence will kick in, and it will realize what's happening. But in between, it will always be sequences running to the operating system level. Alrighty. Yes, please?
Just visual, the use case that the problem that you're solving here is just the insufficiency of multimodal LLMs at this point where they can't properly detect the items, or is there, like if they suddenly should get better, is there still a benefit to doing it this way?
Good question. The question is like whether or not the current LLMs have this capability, or what problem are you exactly solving? The problem I'm solving is, to be honest, more self-hosted workflow managements that an AI agent can use. Imagine if we are building an AI agent for the government of Germany. They wouldn't want to use an LLM that is from US. With this, literally every single line of code is by yourself. If you can take one of the open source LLMs like Llama or DeepSeek, you can self-host it in your own server, and then all the security experts here in the room, you can like literally firewall it 1,000 times to make sure that nothing leaves the premises. And then you can run the entire automation locally in your own hardware. So that's my main focus, to kind of like go towards that 100% GDPR and EU AI Act compliant AI agent. Yes, please.
Since you mentioned security, have you considered what happens when the website that you're viewing contains content controlled by some third party?
Not yet. As I mentioned, it is just, the question was basically if I considered the security inside the website that's loaded underneath these blind clicks. The answer is no, because it's like a 10-hour, 20-hour long project. I'm looking for contributors. Since I heard you saying you're a security expert, please contribute. All right, so let's get, do we have any other question before I get to coding? All right. Okay, so the coding goes like this. I will first start from showing you what is WebTop. So I'm right now running in localhost something called a Casim VNC. Inside that there is a Mata Linux distribution. And it has all these terminals, basically the Linux distros that you can get. And for the matter of fact, you can spin off any Linux distro underneath this. So this is basically Arc browser that is showing a simple Linux distribution here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to automate things here. In the YouTube video, you will see I'm automating Dativ, but I don't have this 2FA phone with me right now. Otherwise, I would be showing you my accounting database and with all its transactions. No, I'm just joking. I hid them. But therefore, we will find another thing to automate right now. We'll pick something from the crowd and see what is going on. Which one can we pick? So basically, this entire Linux distro that is used something called WebTop. I'm using WebTop to kind of encapsulate that distro inside a Docker container and load it inside a browser. That's basically the entire launchpad. Now, what's running on localhost 3001 is simply, what's happening here? It's just loading, it's okay. Was it 3001? Okay. So it is basically a Linux, a Next.js app that you can see here. It doesn't have a lot of things. It just basically uses an ngrok reverse proxy URL here. Where is this coming from? This is coming from inside the container, inside the WebTop container. Basically, this is a Docker container that's running here you can see. And how did I do this? By basically following the instructions from WebTop server. I think their actual thing is called linuxserver.io. So from here you can find a lot of information about how to spin off a Linux distro like this. And then inside the container, I have a small project running. Let me quickly show you that. I'm doing basically an SSH. Through the SSH, I'm getting inside the Docker container, and then I read files from there. So it's based on this Docker container. And my password is password. Secure. And so basically, this is the project that is, oh, I had it already here, nice. So this is the project. Basically, what it does is it's using an NPM package called robot.js, and it has an Express web server that is running the app. When I run it, it basically, please pay attention when I'm switching the screens. If I was doing it too fast, let me know. This is basically the container. This is inside the container. That when I run it with nodemon, it exposes it to a port 3030. And I have a reverse proxy sitting here from ngrok. And it is reverse proxying port 3030 to this URL. That's basically that. And what is inside that container that is running right now is basically something like this. Wait a minute, let me get rid of this. We need, yeah, let's keep this here because we need something to do screenshots. Okay. Go away, go away. Okay. So what robot.js does is it basically has a lot of things, but you can see it from here. It can do drag mouse, get mouse position, key tap, key toggle, mouse click, mouse toggle, and so on. Like all the keyboard and mouse activities that you can do on a computer. And what it does is I give it explicit instructions where to go, what to do. And then there are sleep times that I do a constant sleep that wait for here for 5 seconds, wait for here for 3 seconds. As I said, it's just kind of like an hello world example right now. That it goes on the internet, grabs a picture of Berlin TV tower, and then sends it back to the WebSocket that it came from, or the HTTP request it came from. And then these clicks, these coordinates are very important. In episode 2 and 3, I think we were kind of like trying to find how to pick the coordinates right. Initially, what I did was I found a way to pick the coordinates based on, let me see if I can show you quickly that. Something like this. And I will just put it somewhere here. I'd go here and then put it here. And then it creates like these mouse coordinates, which I intended initially to build a browser extension from that, so that we get these X and Y coordinates and then we simulate those steps. But then I realized that this kind of like binds it so much closely to the browser, but this thing is not a browser-based. What if I want to automate a desktop application? Therefore, I decided to start building an Electron.js app, and right now this app that you see is literally a couple of lines of code of Electron.js that takes the X and Y coordinates of the screen, and it shows you where your mouse right now is. And it has a kind of sticky on the top of all the windows so that you can simulate things. So now, what I want to simulate is the very first step would be, let me make sure the screen size and everything is okay, is to click on the new tab, okay? So you can see when I move my mouse, the X and Y coordinate in the bottom right corner of the screen is moving. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of this area. So that's my first step. The first step is to move the mouse comment this out. So the first step would be to move the mouse at 253 and 50, and then simulate the mouse click. And now if I did it right, and I send any message, I don't have any LLM set up right now between the chat window and the actual robot.js. But there will be one that will basically take care of all the NLP and the commands that's coming to this thing. Right now, any message you send, it will execute that command. So now if I send it, it basically clicks something. So let's quickly double check if something anomaly happened right now. I don't know why did it close it. It was supposed to open this tab. So let's try it one more time. So you see the mouse moved there. I'm not gonna get, this is my mouse from my Mac. That mouse you see there, inside that, if I enter my mouse inside the container, that mouse will stick to this mouse, so you will not see the difference. So right now, this is my mouse. That other mouse is inside the container. So the anomaly that's right now happening, live demos always happen, but we'll kind of like spend at least a couple of minutes to see if we can find it out, is that it goes and clicks in the right place. How do we know that? Because the bottom right corner is showing exactly the same coordinates. See if I'm now moving my mouse to inside the container. When I move in, it gets stuck there, and it is moving it to the right place. But instead of like opening a new Firefox tab, it closes Firefox. So perhaps it is clicking here, not here. 291. Okay, there was a human error. And sorry about that. I'm just going to take another screenshot. You can see I was clicking on 253, and instead I should have clicked on 291. So let's check that. 291 and 49. 1 pixel doesn't make any difference, but let's just do that. Okay. And voila, one new tab is opened. Now is the time that we find a workflow that we should automate. Do you have an idea what should we automate? Give me a small scenario, not that play Minecraft. Yes, please.
Get an appointment at Berlin Bürgeramt.
Perfect. Let's get the Berlin Bürgeramt appointment. So Berlin Bürgeramt. Perfect. I love that example of government involvement. So first we need to search this term, okay? Then we need to go to this. Okay, let's do it actually as it is happening. So we open the new tab. The next thing is that we need to do typing, okay? There is typing happening here. So I'm gonna in order to save time, I'm gonna bring this here. I'll ask robots to first sleep for a little bit time because the operating system maybe takes like 500 milliseconds, but to be safe, I'm gonna wait for 1 second. And then I'm gonna type Berlin. Oh, it's one of the challenges I have is that the clipboard from inside the container is not shared with MacBook. So maybe we need to find that as the first thing. So Berlin Bürgeramt in my MacBook. I'm gonna search that here. And there we go. I'm going to search for Berlin Bürgeramt and hit enter. But what happens is, let's see, what happens when I actually open a tab? The moment I open a tab, you can see that the focus is already here, you see? If I search something and I hit enter, it will work. I don't need to kind of like go to Google and then find. So I'll just leave it like that. Let's see if it works. I'll close this tab for now. Perfect. My hands are up. I'm not making jokes, okay? It's happening. And I did a typo somewhere. Maybe this is the the German oo. It's Linux. Maybe we need to do kind of like a Unicode translation there. It's probably ASCII. It still works. So it works. And then let's just make fun of this. So, like, click here. Where is that? Positions. Let's pick the positions here. So the exact X and Y coordinates are, again, the same thing. Oops. So I'm going to move let's give it some sleep time because Google can take some time. By the way, this is exactly the thing that I want contributions to. For example, all these clicks will be generated by this Electron.js app that we built. It will go in a database, so we won't do like when we are doing, once it's done, let's say in a month or so, this piece of project that I have in mind, then you basically click, 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 and then run it. It will automatically follow all your clicks. And for that, I'm looking for a contributor. This is a pretty much standalone app that somebody can build in JavaScript. Alrighty.
Question.
Yes, please.
So what you intend to have later on is like a click recorder.
Correct.
You will once do a clicking template on a particular site or in a particular tool. It records the click succession, the chain.
Yes.
Stores it, and then you can retrieve it every time again. And
yes. Not only the click, but also the microphone, because in the screenshots are probably a full screen recording. Because the microphone, the transcript of whatever is going through the microphone, be it in any of the 50 languages that LLM support, then that becomes the prompt. And then there will be like a click sequence, a prompt, and when the click sequence fails, all of this data is given to an LLM, and it says like, find out where it failed. And then it goes one step back, or maybe 5 steps back in the sequence. And then it finds out if it can resolve it. If it tries 1, 2 times, 3 times it fails, then it sends a Slack notification to a human in the loop, and then they see exactly the same thing. They log in and they see, okay, they changed their web page, so I have to click here. And then there will be this app running here will remember this new click coming from the human, and then it will overwrite it based on the old sequence. So for that particular one, I'm looking for a contributor for this tiny little app that is an Electron.js app. Yes, please.
A couple of months ago, I tried the Google Assistant, which is looking at the screen, and you can chat with the screen and everything. So basically, what do I need to type here, whatever, it sees everything. Wouldn't it be easier to train this one just in a voice and say like, oh yeah, so I instruct you how to write this code for automation, and just like now I'm clicking here, and it would see the coordinates and would directly write it. Would it not be kind of a shorter way to get this automated using existing technology? Like, because I was impressed when I was just troubleshooting via screen share my tech stuff.
Yes. I mean, I know that project from Google, they're still in beta. They only have a YouTube video on that. I watched that same thing.
Try it out.
You can try it out. Please show me how to do it after the call.
Yeah, just go
after
to
the talk.
the developer. Maybe it doesn't drop, but I tried it.
Are we talking about the same one? You share your screen, there's a voice talking, and then it's pair programming with you at the same time.
It doesn't control it, but at least you can chat.
I see. Okay, we can talk about it because I want to try that out. I couldn't find exactly where to find it. I only found.
Okay.
All right. So if I resume because we are running out of time apparently, and let me quickly check this out. All right. So it opens the page, it types Berlin-Burger Amt without the U, and then it clicks that location where we got to the Berlin page, the Berlin-Burger Amt page. Perhaps I need to click here, or you get the point. Should I continue doing the whole workflow? Yes.
I have a couple of questions.
Please go ahead.
The first one is, do you know about OpenAdapt?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
Do you know about OpenAdapt.ai?
OpenAdapt.ai. No, I don't know about that.
Okay, so they already incorporate like many things so that they understand whatever you're seeing on the screen. But like for your examples, they're mostly browser-based.
Okay.
For your examples, they're mostly browser-based. So I'm wondering, like, why not just...
Is it this one? OpenAdapt.ai?
Yeah.
But this... Okay. Please carry on.
Mm-hmm. So if you use Playwright, you can... If you want the visual component, you have it. You can take the screenshots and everything.
Yeah.
And it's headless. But you can also capitalize on the fact that HTML is most of the time semantic. So once you feed it to an LLM, you can get like a higher success rate, I would guess.
I did that. There is a company called Browser Base. They're using basically Playwright under the hood. I tried Playwright, Selenium, and Puppeteer, all three of them, but they're only browser-based. And I also built an AI agent for a client of mine recently, extracting data from a lot of different sources And I build a Chrome extension actually that simulates the entire workflows. But that only stays inside the browser. So what I wanted to do is like go deep and automate things that run on a Windows XP. And we do not have a browser. It's a Visual Basic 6 application that's running on a Windows XP, and it's running inside an hospital, and it's like, I don't know, 20 years old. Nobody dares to touch it, and it doesn't run in the browser. Therefore, I kind of like went to the operating system level, and I started from there onwards. Right now, this demo that I showed you was possible with only like web browsers, but it can also be possible with desktop applications. I like, thank you for sharing these guys. They have in their video a calculator. I should also show in my video something that is desktop application, so that the question of web browser is out of their mind.
Yeah, I think they're building a whole stack on interacting with hardware devices underneath via
Wonderful.
the OS.
Thank you for introducing me to this. Yep.
Have you also checked OmniParser from Microsoft?
Yes, version 2 was released 2 days ago. What is OmniParser by Microsoft is basically you can take any LLM and then it gives that computer use capability to it, and then it can click things around. Yeah, I have just checked it, like literally watched it. I haven't checked it myself. That's on my to-do list to check it. It's called OmniTools by Parser, OpenParser, what? OmniParser, but the tool is called OpenTool or something like that. OmniTool.
Not really a question, but just for me to understand. So basically, you've built something that acts like macros do in Excel, if I understand correctly. It's this sort of automation?
You can do a kind of metaphor of macros. I wrote a lot of I come from a background where in 2000, 2001, I did Visual Basic 6, and then I did VBA, and I was writing macros for Microsoft Access. And I know what macros could do in Excel. Yes, so it's kind of like go to that cell, write this thing, and then do a sum of this. Exactly, so that explicit instruction that macros have, in this case you have, but in here, basically this tiny app, this tiny desktop app will have other features that will basically capture all your click-throughs, all your sequences. It stores it somewhere on a database.
Yeah, I mean, you said you would also have speech to text, which is an addition to macros, but yeah, I just wanted to understand the general idea.
Exactly, that connotation could be correct.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
there's microphone.
so I'm trying to understand like how people would use this, and especially what happens if a website changes. As a website owner, I know they change all the time.
Yes.
So like how would you work around that? Or
so the first question is who can use this? Who's it for? It's for developers who would like to build AI agents, who would like to automate workflows, especially on those systems that do not have APIs. My entire specialty that I'm trying to do, by the way, I work with cool brands. You can see that. My entire specialty I'm trying to do is like with these areas where there is no API available. Therefore, I kind of like spun off this project that allows other developers and myself for my clients to build workflow automations where there is no API available for that system that I'm running. So it's for developers. It's a developer tool, basically. What happens if the website changes? It will fail, and it will try to retry to find itself out with an LLM on the top. And then if it fails 3 times, let's say, you can change that number 3 times, 5 retries, 2 retries, 1 retry. And then it will send a Slack message to a human in the loop. And then the human in the loop will basically go here, and then we'll see, okay, there's a 404 page coming here. We need to go to another page. And then they go to this page, they find exactly the link. Okay, it's in this link now. And then this little app will keep recording all the things. And then even like turn on the microphone and speak that, okay, this link that you were trying is no more available. Please go to this new link that I provided in the browser. So that would be the way that it will unstuck those issues. but it will try to find its way out first by an LLM, basically intelligently. Instead of like trying the same thing again and again, it will try to understand the context and see, for example, there's like a couple of pixels back and forth. Like the error that I did, I clicked here instead of here because I did a couple of pixels typo on when I was running it. If it's that kind of a thing, LLM will find out, oh, okay, I don't have to click here, I have to click here in order to open a new tab. Because when I did the instructions, I said, click here to open a new tab, click here Berlin Bürgeramt. It sounds like burger. So that's the whole thing. Like the instruction that we give to the system through a microphone and through screen recording, it will be rich enough for an LLM to find out that, hey, don't click here, click here. And so it would be the case with a 404 page, a page that's not found, or a button that's changed its location in the website from top to bottom or something like that.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. 2 more minutes. Let's take 1 or 2 more questions. Yes?
I mean, I'm just curious that you mentioned later before the Playwright solution that if the Linux distro is running through the browser, wouldn't it be actually doable to actually write some Playwright automation with the Linux distro? Because, I mean, you're accessing to the Linux distro to the browser. So you can just boot up Playwright to go to the browser and actually just do the commands. So the way you do web development? Yeah. Okay, so the way Playwright works is with XPath and with selectors, navigating through the DOM, finding the right elements, and then calling the JavaScript that's attached to it. Pardon me. Now, if you do that, what happens here is that you see this is entirely at one canvas. Oh, okay. Okay.
So there is no DOM here. It's all inside. It's a black box, basically. WebTop encapsulates everything as Linux and then loads it here. Even if, let's say, we find out whatever magical thing that changes this canvas into divs and elements and everything, and then we channel with the WebRTC all the clicks and everything, then it will again stick here. Why would we not use the same Playwright inside that web browser? Why outside and then go through WebTop and then to the browser? Why should we not use it directly in this web page? The answer is again the same
that was
thing.
Kind of the idea to use the desktop automation using Playwright within the browser, but it's a canvas.
Yeah, it's a canvas. Yeah. All right, one last question. Please.
Just quickly, are you not afraid that one of the big players just add a feature and they have it like in Tropics in the...
Yeah, I will lose 20 hours of my life. And I have made like a lot of YouTube content videos on this, and I met you guys because of this project.
You're not going to build that company.
Yeah, I'm a freelance AI engineer helping SMEs in Germany know what is AI and adopt it in their workflows and become 10x more efficient. That was a very humble pitch. Not kind of in the business of building an OpenAI operator competition. I'm done with startups. I did 3 startups, all of them failed. I'm done with that.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. All right, thanks. Thanks, everyone. Oh, yeah, what? Sorry, one last question, maybe, just so that you don't feel your...
Question. I mean, like, of course, there will be AI agents in the future, but I think it's a very good idea to build something that's in between normal automation and the AI agent to make it more secure for, I don't know, government purposes or security purposes. Just to have LLMs as an extra to help. I think it's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, I would highly appreciate if you guys would like to connect with me. And more importantly, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need more subscribers. Thank you.